Mange. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go.
Traffic Avenue, the show for me and you. Mondays to Fridays, ooh, the Traffic Avenue. Traffic Avenue, the show for me and you. Fridays, ooh, the Traffic Avenue.
Oh, flex. Buckle up and join the best. Let's see, relieve your stress. So yes, let the music soothe your soul and keep it going just to refresh. Buckle and enjoy the ride from 2 to the half of the 5. Mondays to Fridays happening live. Where we gon' have a ball, you can text your guys. Let me tell you what you really gotta do. You can count on us, we come through. We got everything you need, that's true. Are you ready for the Traffic Avenue? Let me tell you what you
Detailed news, unparalleled coverage. City News on 97.3 FM.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
City News.
It's 17:30 GMT. This is Eyewitness News on 97.3 Citi FM. I am Umaru Sanda Amadu. Tonight, I'm here with
Akusia Oche.
And coming up over the next 90 minutes.
So we should state that we are working. We want to assure you, the media, that even though it has come to our attention, even though they were not representing our country, but once the reports indicate that they are athletes, it is important for us to be concerned. So we have asked the security agencies to investigate.
Youth and Sports Minister Yusuf Mustafa to probe into the para-athlete visa scandal in Oslo, Norway. We'll hear more on what he has been telling pressmen today in Accra. Also coming up, to debate or not, the minority side in Parliament is asking Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia to come and debate them in Parliament instead of his request to debate John Dramani Mahama on the economy. And later on Eyewitness News,
that Poku has stepped on the wrong foot by tampering with our brother's grave without our knowledge. That is totally unacceptable. And now we are going to deal with him.
The resting place of the late President Professor John Evans Atta Mills rocked by controversy on the 12th anniversary of his death. Stay with 97.3 Citi FM for more on this and many other stories on Eyewitness News. And in business,
government challenges individuals and businesses to honor tax obligations to meet revenue targets for 2024.
That's in 15 minutes from the City Business Desk. Eyewitness News is live across Ghana on a host of affiliate stations. In Upper West Region, we are on Boogly Radio 88.6 FM in Wa. We are in Upper East on Word FM 88.3 in Zuarungu. We are in the Northern Region on Dasuma 99.1 FM in Yendi. In Volta Region, we are on Holy 98.5 FM in Aflao. In the Eastern region, we are on Right 90.1 FM in Somanya. In Ashanti region, we are on Orange 107.9 FM in Kumasi. In the Bono region, we are on Greener 95.9 FM in Sunyani. In the Western region, we are on Beach 105.5 FM and Premier 100.5 FM, as well as Sky Power 93.5 FM, all of them in Takrady. We are live on YouTube. Look for Citi FM. We are live on Facebook. We are on citynewsroom.com. And we are interactive on X. My handle is at Umaru Sanda. You can also send your message to at City973. On WhatsApp, the message platform is 0549 986 996. 0549 986 996. Let the world hear what you think by sending your messages to these platforms. 97.3 Citi FM is the station. Eyewitness News is a program. Umaru Sandamadu is a name, and I'm here with Akosia Ochi, who brings us our first story.
Now, the Minister of Youth and Sports, Mustafa Yusuf, says he will not take responsibility for the controversy surrounding the Norway scandal that has affected Ghanaian sports. Or the scandal involves a group of individuals, allegedly para-athletes, who were supposed to represent Ghana at the Bergren Marathon in Oslo in April, but absconded. One of the individuals, who has since passed away, and another was apprehended by Norwegian authorities while attempting to travel to Sweden. This issue was highlighted in a letter from the Ministry of National Security, which was also sent to the Sports Ministry and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Now, addressing the press, Mustafa Yusuf stated that he cannot be held accountable for the scandal.
So the attention of the Ministry of Youth and Sports has been drawn to a publication about some 11 Ghanaian Paralympic athletes purported to have absconded whilst in Oslo, Norway, to participate in the food draft Bergen City Marathon. The report also indicated that the coach of the team, George Jesse, had collapsed and was admitted at Oslo University Hospital, where he later passed away. Additionally, one other member of the team, that's Nana Entry, was arrested and detained by the Norwegian security officials whilst attempting to travel to Sweden by train. The Ministry of National Security has alerted my ministry, that's the Ministry of Youth and Sports here, about the issue. And we have since responded to the National Security Minister and the other security agencies to investigate the issue. By way of education, we wish to state the following: that in relation to visa assistance, that's protocol assistance to all the federations in Ghana, and I know most of you distinguished media are even abreast with how we operate at the ministry, or travel arrangements for all athletes. If an athlete and the ministry and the Ministry of Youth and Sports work with our technical agency, that's the National Sports Authority, for visa assistance who participate in international competitions. So any federation that is recognized by the National Sports Authority, if they want to travel for their international competitions or even local national competitions, they will normally, if they need assistance from us, from government, they will normally write to the National Sports Authority. The National Sports Authority will do their due diligence, then report same with recommendation to the ministry, then we take action. In this case, in this Norwegian case, there was no end to either the National Sports Authority or the Ministry of Youth and Sports. So the ministry were not aware about any, and the team that went wasn't also representing Ghana, as it has been reported in some of the media. So the Norwegian authorities, that's the embassies, to never even had the opportunity. Normally, even the Ministry of Youth and Sports, we don't issue letters directly to any of the embassies. We normally will write to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, for Ministry of Foreign Affairs to then work on our behalf to any of the specific embassies or missions. So for the record, this purported Ghana Paralympic team is not true. They are not in any of the tournament because we were not in the picture. The Ministry of Youth and Sports then transmits the communication to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration to facilitate the acquisition of relevant visas and appropriate embassies and consulate office. But I've just explained that. So we should state that we are working. We want to assure you, the media, that even though it has come to our attention, even though they were not representing our country, but once the reports indicate that they are athletes, it is important for us to be concerned. So we have asked the security agencies to investigate, and once the investigation is concluded, the report will be given to the public. So, but let me also use this opportunity to warn all those who are hiding behind our hardworking and patriotic athletes in the name of helping athletes and abusing them, using various means to be assistant, just is to secure travels for people. If it is genuine competition sanctioned by the International Federation body, all the federations are here, and that's why the Sports Act will normally ask you to report to the National Sports Authority. So if there is a genuine competition that you have to attend, we all know the procedure.
That was Minister of Youth and Sports, Mustafa Hamid.
Let's speak to his predecessor in office and Member of Parliament for Ododo Dio, the Honorable Edwin Nilante Vanderpoy. He has been a Minister for Sports before. He knows how these things work. Honorable Minister Former, you're welcome to Eyewitness News.
Thank you very much, Morosanda. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. We've just played there your successor in office, the Honorable Yusuf Mustafa MP for Yarabakubori. He says a number of things. He says the ministry and for that matter himself will be probing this scandal. But he says that the Norwegian embassy was not prudent, and so he cannot take responsibility for what happened. Now, when these issues come up and you have a tournament and you need to go, when a mushroom group shows up at the Norwegian embassy or it's an embassy and they are given a visa, clearly the ministry should not know about it, especially when there's issues of forgery coming up. Is that the same way you would have handled it if you were in this office?
Well, thank you very much, Morosanda. Let me say no. Because there is no way the Ministry of Foreign Affairs will have given a note verbal to the embassy without an authority note and letter from the Ministry of Youth and Sports or the National Sports Authority. Even when the letter is from the Federation, it is addressed to the National Sports Authority and then to the Ministry of Youth and Sports. So the Ministry of Youth and Sports are the one who will collaborate with the Ministry of Foreign Affairs for a note verbal to be put on the request and then transmitted to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and that will also be transmitted and forwarded to the embassy before visas are issued.
But in this case, an allegation of forgery has been made where the letterhead was forged, the signature was forged. It's only possible that the note verbal was also forged. Clearly, the embassy that issues these visas should have done a little more thorough job, don't you think?
Well, the embassy cannot be blamed. Morosanda, what do you expect? We are talking about a regime under which we've seen situations where people were virtually made athletes, journalists and reporters when they are not during the Australia Olympic Commonwealth Games. You all know what happened, the Commonwealth visa scandal. And in that situation, government apparatchik, government officials, state officials were involved. What has come out of that issue? What has come out of that case? Under this government, everything is possible. Everything. Even a man could be turned into a woman under this government. I will not be surprised if this so-called issue of forged documents and the rest had an official endorsement. If this has not blown out, who would have heard about it? So we've seen it before, where there was official complicity in the issuance of visa for people to go to Commonwealth Games in Australia when they are not actually athletes, when they are not journalists. They misrepresented themselves and they were sent there. So if it has happened again with an amputee team, which is not our national amputee team, according to the president of the Ghana Disabled Sports Association, then who do you blame? I will require an independent body doing the investigation, but not the ministry itself doing the investigation.
Okay, but I'm just looking at the quotes from the minister. He said that the ministry would have expected that the embassy would contact them to check if these people are genuine or not. If this did not happen, again, I'm just wondering why we should put the blame on the ministry. And now that he says he's going to investigate, you don't trust the investigative process, of course, but again, the embassy should take some blame, don't you think? And the minister should have clean hands.
I don't think so. One, you see, most of the embassies, born out of the respect that they have for the sovereignty of the state, when they have a note verbal, hardly would they want to go back and check whether the note verbal is genuine. Most of the time they don't, because it is out of respect for the state seal that is on that letter. Because in their jurisdiction, they don't think anybody could have access to a state seal like that. So if there's a note verbal with a state seal on it, hardly would they want to think that that is a forged letter. So we must trace the source of that forged document. You can't blame the embassy. It is the Ministry of Youth and Sports and the National Sports Authority who should first be sure and authenticate that the list of people that have been sent to their office for the note verbal to be written are genuine, are people who are representative of the particular federation that they say they are going to represent. What stopped that ministry or that official at the ministry who forwarded the letter to the Ministry of Youth, Minister of Foreign Affairs for a note verbal from calling the president of the federation to ask, the general secretary of the president of the federation to ask first before issuing that letter to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs? And what stopped the Minister of Foreign Affairs person who issued a note verbal from calling the Minister of Youth and Sports or the Chief Director of the National Sports Authority to find out whether these persons who have applied to be given a note verbal were truly a representation of the country? Why do you blame the Foreign Office, who don't know our players?
Okay, now you have dealt with governments in the past and embassies in the past for tournaments. We do know that the Paralympics will be coming up in a bit after the Olympics are done in France. How do you reckon these embassies and these countries are going to start looking at us if we present the genuine athletes in light of what has happened already?
Well, that is the problem we have created for ourselves. You know, this country, under this regime, the image and the integrity of the country has so been damaged that now, when you mention that you are from Ghana, you are looked with different eye. You are looked in a different sphere, in different shape. And people want to find out whether you are really truly a Ghanaian. Because we have situations where people who are not even Ghanaians are officially being made to be represented as Ghanaians and taking our resources and our monies away. So under this government, I'm saying everything is turned upside down. And I'm sure that what has happened is going to further damage the reputation of our sports federations and our Olympic Committee and our National Sports Authority and the Ministry of Youth and Sports. I'm sure the embassy that will be handling the accreditation for the Paralympic Games will be cautious enough from the way they are being blamed, from the way the minister and the ministry is blaming them now. They will be cautious enough now to do a thorough and a due diligence on every application for an accreditation to attend the Paralympic Games.
Very well. Thank you so much. Before you go, today is the 12th anniversary of the death of the late former president, Professor John Evans Atta Mills. I do know that there was an event today which you were at. Some of the issues that came out from there, a lot of them, I would ask you specifically what today really reminds you of But before then, the controversy that is coming from there is the words that were uttered by Mercy Araba Ahima Kwashi. She is a sister of the late former president. I want to just play what she said at the 12th commemoration of the former president's passing at the Asumje Park today and ask you to comment on that and other issues arising, if you kindly indulge me.
Okay.
This morning, we came to find a very ugly scene. Some people that were brought in by Koku Aido, pretending to be the real relatives of Atamios. That is never true. We don't know them from anywhere. And they were here. He has schooled them, telling them that the rest of us, we are paternal brothers and sisters, and they are the real Atamios family. It was so disgusting to find an 80-year-old woman pouring libation and hitting her tummy, saying that Fifi Mama won. And I was wondering if she gave birth as a baby to everyone that had wrong food. By with our brother's grave, without our knowledge, we are going to deal with him. Because it's a taboo in our family to do that. Whatever that you want to do, and we have to give you our approval. Because you have the money. Well, my brother preached Asumdwe. We sometimes agree.
So that's the sister to late former President John Evans Atamios, Mercy Araba Ahima Kwashi. The Honorable Edwin Antivandapo, what was that about?
It's a bit sad that we have to talk about this issue, because if there's anything that shouldn't have controversy, it's the memory and the remembrance of our late President John Evans Atamios, a man of integrity, a man of transparency, and a man of honesty. It was so sad. But the truth of the matter is that this government, if they have not damaged the reputation and the image of Professor Mills, then I don't know what else they will have done. You know, last year, or I don't know whether it is early this year, there was a so-called family of Professor Mills which were given the permission and the authority and the mandate and the right access to meet with President Akufo-Addo at the Jubilee House. And I was shocked that the whole president will entertain a group like that when the president is aware that Professor Mills has living brothers and sisters. In fact, one of them, a member of parliament. And the president's office, the whole presidency, and the whole government will not even call Honorable Sami Atamios to find out that these people who are requested to come and see the president, are they truly a representation of your family? They didn't do that and had audience with them. That group was arranged by Koku Ayido, who has no relationship, who has nothing to do with the family of ex-president, late President John Evans Atamios. Koku only worked with Professor Mills. He's not a family member. He's not an extended or nuclear family member of Professor Mills. Auntie Araba, who spoke, is the direct senior sister of Professor Mills. Cadman is alive. Sami Atamios is alive. The son, Kofi Atamios, is alive. And people will come and say they are the family of Professor Mills, and they are coming to perform the remembrance. And national security and the whole state apparatus will give them the permission to do that. When for years now, the state has recognized the fact that the NDC and the family have collaborated to organize such situations. In fact, when his memorial heritage was being launched, President Kufuor, even though we were not present, sent a delegation. The presidency sent a delegation. So the presidency cannot say that they are not aware of the existence of the memorial heritage. They are not aware of the annual celebration of Professor Mills's memory by the NDC and the heritage. Because we applied to them and they gave us today from 9 o'clock to 12 to come and perform our right. Apparently, the same state and national security had given Koko Anidoho and the so-called pretentious family 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock to also come and do their own remembrance service. So when we got there, they were there. We were waiting for them to finish their program. We have been given 9 o'clock to 12. Exactly at 9, we decided to start our program. They were seated and they had their canopies and they have their things there. So we asked them to move their things so that we can start our program. He, Koko himself, had absconded. He wasn't there. And he subjected these people who ignorantly have been brought there to public ridicule. I felt bad for them. I felt bad for the people who have been brought in, some chiefs, some opinion leaders, some school children, some cultural groups who have been brought there by Koko Anidoho. And what was sad, Morosanda, was the fact that there was this woman who herself is 80 years, saying that Professor Mills was her son. Meanwhile, Professor Mills was 80 3 days today. And you are 80, you can say Professor Mills was your son. And the brothers and the sisters who were sitting there do not know you. You see, what we should understand is that, Moro, you and I all agree, even though in Ghana we value the extended family system, there is always the immediate family or the nuclear family. So, as we dispute about whose family or who has right to somebody, it cannot be questioned because there's always the first point of call is the immediate or the nuclear family before you go to the extended family. So what happened was just uncalled for, unwarranted, unnecessary, and unexpected. But I'll put all at the doorstep of the government, which is allowing this buffoon of a guy called Koko Anidoho.
You shouldn't use that word on someone you worked with when you were both working for former President and late President Mills.
Former President Mills hate people who behave that way and has always called them buffoons. So that's how I'm using it. President Mills, people who behave the way Koko is behaving, are always referred to by President Mills as buffoons.
Yes,
and
but
Koko knows it. That's why I'm using it for him.
Yeah, but
it's a perfect example of the people President Mills will have called buffoons.
No, but you are not President Mills, and I don't think you should use that to describe
I'm a son of President Mills.
Yeah, but if Koko calls in and calls you,
him.
Yeah, but if Koko calls you a buffoon, I would ask him to retract. So I would also ask you to retract. But I don't think that would be an appropriate use of a word against someone you once worked with.
Anyone who behaves in that way, people who engage in buffoonery are referred to as buffoons. It's not an insult. The way he's behaving, he's playing the buffoonery.
How did you get here? He was someone who was so close to you.
I brought him to President Mills.
Yeah, so then how?
I brought Koko to President Mills.
How is such a person now all of a sudden engaging
in the
manner you're saying?
It is only his arrogance and ego that is allowing Koko to stay and do the things he's doing. His arrogance and ego. He doesn't have that humility that is supposed to be exhibited by anybody who worked under President Mills. And he's forgotten the many times he did these things, and some of us have to plead for him under President Mills. He's not learning his lessons. Koko is not trying to grow up. He doesn't want to. You see, his hatred for President Mahama is making him sick and insane. That's his hatred for President Mahama.
The people
all this he's doing, it is nothing. It's about his hatred for President Mahama and nothing else. All that he tried to do today was to do something to disrupt the program he knew President Mahama and the NDC, the National Executive, were going to be present. Koku has an innate bitterness against President Mahama and our National Chairman, Seydou Nketia. And I don't know what they've done to him. I don't know what they have done to him. If there is anybody Koku should be grateful to, it's President Mahama. Because I know what he has done for Koku. I will not say it in public, but I know what he has done for Koku. I need to know. If there is anybody who should be grateful to the NDC, it is Koku. Because but for the NDC, Koku was nobody. Koku should be grateful and always pray for the NDC. Koku should be grateful to President Mahama. Every day of his life, every minute, every second, every hour of his life, he must pray for President Mahama and the NDC. Because but for President Mahama and the NDC, Koku would not have been known by anybody. I respect this family. I respect General Nido and all his siblings. But Koku, sometimes, I don't know. I wish that Koku will know that, look, what he's doing is affecting the image and the name and the integrity of somebody like his father, General Nido. Because his father is well respected. And I know what he's doing is not endorsed by any member of his family. Because some of us have been talking to them, some of them well respect them. They call us, sometimes they beg with us, they plead with us, just not to respond to some of the nonsense he's doing.
You're using very strong words. You sound very angry.
Yes. It's getting to a time when we need to tell Koku that his buffoonery, we've had enough of it. We've reached our tolerance level for his buffoonery.
He makes a claim that as a party, you abandoned
he is not a member of the party. Koku is not a member of the party.
He says
he's
that
not the one to talk for the party.
He was once
not a member of the Tamils family. He's not the one to talk for the Tamils family.
He was once your deputy general secretary.
He was only a staff.
He was once your deputy general secretary. He says that you all invaded the Asundwe Park today because it's an election year. Suddenly you remember Atamils, but you have neglected his place for all these years, and that he even has been the one who has been taking care of the place. He says that in various interviews and also Twitter posts.
Moro, let me tell you this. When Koku speaks like this, excuse my language, a kindergarten boy will not speak like that. Moro, listen to me. Every year the NDC performs this function. Just last Friday, we had a wonderful memorial lecture, commemorative lecture. Look, for the past years, the J.A. Mills Memorial Heritage has kept the memory and the immortalization of President Mills alive. The National Security, the Minister, the Office of the President have always collaborated with us to keep this celebration. So what is he talking about? We don't have the power to take care of the Asundwe Park. It's national security's responsibility. So how do you expect the NDC to always come, clean the place, wash the place, weed the place? Is that what he calls keeping the memory of the Mills? Is that what he's talking about? What is he talking about? If there is anything we want to do to immortalize the memory of the Mills, is to be decent, respectful, humble, and also be caring enough for the sentiments of the people who President Mills so much cherish, his family, the NDC, and the people of Ghana. These things are lost to him, and that's why I can never accept him associating himself with the name Professor Mills in any way.
The people he went to the place with this morning, they claim to be Atamils' family. Could it be that perhaps they are from his maternal family? Is that possible?
Moro Sanda, who should tell you, Moro, sitting there, who your family is?
Family members?
Do you need Koku Anido to come and tell you who your family members are? Do you need Koku Anido to tell Sami Atamils, Kofi Atamils, Kadma Atamils, Mrs. Kwashi, who their family members are? Between Koku and those ones, who should be able to indicate to you and I who their family members are? What right has Koku got to tell Cadman who his family members are? Is it Koku who will tell Cadman, Dr. Cadman at Tamils, who his family members are? If you listen to Auntie Araba, she mentioned their family, their roots. She mentioned their roots. Even mentioned the Nyandenchra. Mentioned Anabing, Kumfin Anabing, and mentioned Cape Coast. So we are not talking about people who don't know where they come from, who don't know their roots. Koku should spare us this nonsense. He is tarnishing the name and the image of Professor Mills. And enough is enough. Some of us, I'm always being insulted in the ANC that I'm the one who brought him. I'm being insulted every day. Today, every Safi Yanka pointed finger at me that all this is you. We hold you blamable.
You regret bringing
responsible.
You regret bringing him to the NDC fold?
I don't, because let me say this: the quality I saw in Koku, which made me recommend him, I will not shy away from that. He's a brilliant boy, but I think Koku, something is going wrong with him. He's not channeling that brilliance, that knowledge, that intelligence he has for a good reason. He has a lot of hatred, bitterness to overwhelm that level of intelligence and the potential some of us saw in him. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. It's like somebody who has that energy that all of us want to admire, but he channels that energy and for a wrong purpose and a wrong cause. And he needs redemption. He needs deliverance. He needs a revival.
Let's leave it here. Thank you for speaking to us.
Thank you. God bless you. And forever we shall continue to, remember John Evans Atta Mills. And so now let me take the opportunity to tell you, Saturday, we are having the John Evans Atta Mills Memorial Hockey Tournament at the Theodosia Oko Pitch. And I wish you'll be there so that we can all, the hockey fraternity, together with us, will celebrate Professor Mills. He was very good hockey player. He loved hockey. And the hockey pitch, as I said today, was actually done during his tenure. And I think it will be good. The hockey people have always, for years now, have continually remembered him with a tournament. And I say commendation to the Hockey Association, lawyer Bram Labi, his son Kofi Atta Mills, and all those who always organize the tournament. I salute them.
Thank you for speaking to us. That's the Honorable Edwin Nilante Vanderpoel. He's NDC Member of Parliament for Ododo Diodio, served with Atta Mills as a candidate and Atta Mills as a president. And today is the anniversary, 12-year anniversary since the late former president passed on. I remember that afternoon. Clearly, 97.3 Citi FM supporting Richard Sky here to break that heavy news to the Ghanaian population on 24th July 2012. And many people will talk about the weather of that day and how every year the weather appears to be similar to what it was on that day. A very calm and cold weather, which many people were saying they're observing today on the passing of Ghana's, or the first time a sitting president of the Republic passed. Now that memorial service, or the commemorative service rather, which was held at the Asundwe Park, also had in attendance the man who took over from Professor Mills immediately. I remember again that short ceremony in the House of Parliament where John Dramani Mahama, at the time the sitting vice president, had to go to the Chamber of Parliament. Parliament was summoned. He appeared before the House and took the oath of office, as the Constitution dictates that when the sitting president passes or dies, the vice president takes office, and he did that in the Chamber of Parliament on July 24, 2012, a few months into the elections of 2012. John Mahama would later go ahead to win that election against Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, the candidate of the MPP. at the time which election would travel to the Supreme Court, challenged through a petition by Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, J. Kotanka Obeche, the late, and Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia as the three main petitioners. And a lot of it would be history now, as they say. So the former president, John Dramani Mahama, was at the ceremony today, and he spoke. Let's listen to him.
Throughout his life, President Mills advocated for and demonstrated a life of peace and non-violence. His tenure was marked by a commitment to maintaining political stability and social harmony. He was not a vindictive president. He often engaged in dialogue with the opposition parties and community leaders to resolve conflict amicably. Today, we miss him sorely because all the values he stood for, lived for, and died for have been reversed through naked arrogance, arrogant abuse, and absolute recklessness, causing the good people of Ghana enormous anguish and suffering.
So that's former President and NDC flag bearer John Dramani Mahama speaking at the 12th anniversary commemoration of the passing of the late former President, Professor John Evans Atta Mills. Akosia, I'm dreading the quest to ask you where you were on that day.
Oh my God. You're setting me up.
No, just asking where you were on that day.
I was in junior high school.
Form
2. Yeah.
You did joke?
Yeah.
You had not written BC?
No. I wrote in 2013. Yes.
Oh, Charlie.
I remember that day vividly when I got home and my father broke the news.
Around this time, I was at the 37 military hospital reporting to Shamima Muslim on Eyewitness News because that was where his remains were sent. And let's leave it here. We'll be back with more. Please stay.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Kojo, I want to learn how to drive.
No problem at all, my dear. I will get Uncle Kofi to teach you. He taught my father and even me.
Bakojo pa, in this day and age.
Don't take chances when it comes to learning how to drive. Your best bet is Freight Masters Driving Institute. Freight Masters Driving Institute has qualified instructors who are dedicated to equipping you with the right skills for the road. Locate our office at Tema Community 5, adjacent Golden Chopsticks, or Tema Community 25 on the Deftraco Estate Road, Asaleboche, in the same building with Fidelity Bank, Westland, Hatcho, opposite Starbite Shell Filling Station, or on the Spintex Road, Aviation Highway Hydrophone Estate. Call us on 0303 973 388 or 0267 266 211. Visit our website www.freightmastersdriving.com. Freight Masters Driving Institute. Defensive driving with the right skills.
One of the best decisions you can possibly make at the start of your day is to tune in to the Citi Breakfast Show. Insightful, intriguing, intelligent, and informative. The Citi Breakfast Show offers an attractive alternative to the noisy mishmash of morning radio. Tune in to the Citi Breakfast Show for passionate discussions on issues that matter and enjoy interviews where duty bearers and decision makers have their feet held to the fire. The Citi Breakfast Show airs from 6:30 a.m. to 10 a.m. every Monday to Friday, only on 97.3 Citi FM.
Attention, facility management professionals. Get ready for the event of the year, the IFMA Global Africa Conference in Ghana, August 1st and 2nd at the UPSA Auditorium, hosted by the International Facility Management Association's Ghana chapter. This is your chance to meet the world's top FM experts, thought leaders, and innovators. Immerse yourself in groundbreaking keynotes, interactive panels, hands-on workshops, and unmatched networking sessions. Explore the future of facility management in Africa's booming built environments. Don't miss out on the epic gathering of minds and ideas. The IFMA Global Africa Conference, August 1st and 2nd at the UPSA Auditorium. Be there. Proudly sponsored by Fides Group. To register or to sponsor, please call 0558 368 544.
Oh, Yo, jump on them.
Go, the go. Ah, go me. And what time when you come back, we are not hear the sound of your car? Why you buy new car?
No, I not change my car. It be the same ride. It be the fuel way I change. Way one shouts it. Ever since I started using the all-new Excellium Premium Fuel, fortified with 3-in-1 action. Oh, Joe, now my car they run like electric car. No, it's so.
This is the type of fuel where they want to. Because now engine they cost. Where they want for way if I buy it, it go protect my engine. And with the small way I buy, I go drive, sir.
Absolutely. It's like strapping a turbocharger to your engine and giving it a protector. And what they bust my mind, Seth, be the 3-in-1 action, no? Excellium, they prevent up to 99% of deposit. It be anti-wear, some be anti-corrosion. Won't pay when I open them.
Hey, so where can I find this magical fuel?
Just head over to any Total Energy service station and your car will thank you.
Hey, then make a finish my go be fast, then rush go Total Energies. My friend, but why your hand my go be inside?
I give you info. Make a feel the go be too small.
The go.
Yo, Pana. Excellium is designed to protect your car engine, decrease fuel consumption, and lower CO2 emissions. Don't say fuel, say Excellium. Choose Excellium, choose quality.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/City97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/City973, and Instagram at instagram.com/City973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
You're welcome back. Let's do some more stories. Now, the Member of Parliament for Binduri, Abdullahi Banga, has accused the National Democratic Congress of orchestrating an attack on a new Patriotic Party branded vehicle in his constituency. On Monday, 3 masked individuals allegedly doused the MP's campaign vehicle with petrol, shot at it and set it on fire. Abdullahi Banga, speaking to City News, claims the incident is politically motivated and fulfills threats previously made by political opponents.
It's politically motivated because they didn't take any valuable things from the past. For some time now, we've been hearing threats from our political opponents. So this is just a manifestation of the threats that they've been issuing. There's been audios threatening people not to campaign for the new Patriotic Party, to support the party, particularly our Blackberry. They go to radio stations and those threats are issued by various leaders of our political opponents. The NDC, the leadership in the constituency here, when we're doing the voter registration exercise, they were always at the EC office there. They are masked there from their parliamentary candidates, their former chairmen, they are all kinds of people with macho men. They were always there. And they were now people who were selecting who should go and be allowed to register or not to register. The signals were there. And the threat, they say it openly. We have intelligence on the ground. And what is intelligence? That they know that they will not be able to succeed if they don't capitalize on the Boko conflict and threaten people.
Abdullahi Banga is a Member of Parliament for Binduri. However, NDC Sapa East Regional Communications Director Abdallah Salifu denies the party's involvement in the incident, while the party refutes the allegations and call for an investigation into the matter.
Condemn whatever happens, and we commemorate with the family of the constituency chairman and members of the MPP. But we want to state categorically that we, members of the National Democratic Congress in the Binduri constituency, have no hand whatsoever in the burning of the vehicle. We as NDC have been embarking on very decent and peaceful campaign within the jurisdiction of Binduri. We are mindful of the fact that Binduri is not far from Boku, and Binduri used to be part of Boku Central, and we are mindful of the fact that the whole of that enclave is still under curfew and has been a bit stable not quite too long ago. So because of that, we carry on our campaign activities with a lot of decorum. We have no hand in it. We will not do such a thing. We know we are winning the seat by the grace of God by embarking on a very clean campaign. And whoever has a hand in this unfortunate act, I think the law agencies, be it the police, the national security, the NIB, should intensify their investigations and get the perpetrators brought to book. And I'm surprised that the Member of Parliament, who doubles as the Deputy Minister for Local Government, will go straight away to make accusations.
Abdallah Salifu is the Upper East Regional Communications Director of the NDC. Now, the planned second protest to demand the removal of the Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Ernest Addison, and his two deputies has been rescheduled. While the demonstration originally set for July 30 by the minority in Parliament will now take place on August 13. Now, in a letter to the police on Tuesday, July 23, the minority explained that the change was due to the launch of the National Democratic Congress's 2024 campaign in Tamale, scheduled for July 27. Now, the minority indicated that many of its members would be attending this campaign launch, which would leave them with insufficient time to prepare for the protest. Well, the letter to the police further stated that the planned routes and time for the protest will not change. Away from that, consumer advocacy group CATS International is calling on government not to shortchange Ghanaians by taking road tolls and e-levy concurrently. Well, the government says it is establishing a framework for the reintroduction of road and bridge tolls in 2025, or despite retaining the collection of the electronic transfer levy, that's the e-levy, which among other purposes was to help fix issues on Ghana's roads. Well, speaking to City News, was African Director of CATS International, Apia Kusi-Adomako, expressed doubts that the revenue generated will be used for the intended purpose.
By seeing the e-levy and at the same time bringing the road to, I think will be a lot of tax incidents on Ghanaian. Of course, we do understand the crisis we find ourselves now as a nation. We are currently on IMF emergency room, whereby we need more oxygen of taxes to be able to resuscitate the economy. But the question I also want to give it as ourselves again, the revenue that's going to accrue from the new road toll is going to find its way in fixing and maintaining roads. That'll be good enough. But I am a bit doubtful because already when you buy a fuel, I think about 6 worth of every liter of fuel that you buy at the pump goes fund the road fund, and that road funds are not being used to fix the potholes and the gullies that have littered on our roads. Look at what we've been seeing on the Temamoto way. So I think government is trying to use all means to collect money, but if the money that government is collecting will in the long run fix what they want to collect, that is fine. But government should not use creative means of taking money from Ghanaians because it needs money to balance inputs.
Was African Director of CATS International, Apia Kusi-Adomako. Now, the Abosokai Spare Parts Dealers Association has commended plans by the government to broaden the tax base by introducing 2,000 taxpayers onto an electronic value-added tax system. Or during a presentation of the 2024 Media Budget Review, the Finance Minister, Dr. Mohamed Amin Adam, noted the initiative is expected to be implemented by the end of the year. On an interview with City News, the PRO for the association, Teshiado, believes the move will enable the government to rake in more revenue.
A lot of people are doing business in this country. They are not paying tax. Only few are paying the tax. That's the reason why the tax is being increased day by day. Now, when you target a lot of people, or at least majority of Ghanaians to be on the tax net, government will make a lot of revenue out of that. Now, we need a lot of projects we need to the government to execute in this country. But because the government always rely on external donors, now we need funds in this country. You see, the need to get funds. So if the government is going to broaden the tax net so that 2,000 people will be on the tax net, I think it's the right direction, of course. So far as you are doing business, you need to pay your tax. Nonetheless, the government also needs to make business attractive in this country.
Teshiado speaks for the Abosokai Spare Parts Dealers Association. Now let's stay with matters relating to the 2024 Media Budget Review, because the African Education Watch has revealed that government's heavy investments in its flagship free senior high school program have restricted funding for infrastructural projects. Well, the finance minister announced in the budget that government has so far spent 9.9 billion cedis on 5.7 million beneficiaries since its commencement. But Executive Director of Africa Education Watch, Kofi Asare, indicates that more than 90% of the amount allocated for free senior high school went into recurrent expenditure.
You find that some district education officers have their lights off the whole year, no light because they can't pay electricity. You find that some district education officers cannot afford fuel and stationery, and they are always at the mercy of engine. It is because that space is constricted due to the dominance of the secondary education expenditure there. So there are various dimensions of the implications of having about an average of 90% of your goods and services at the time going to free senior high school. But again, I must say that free senior high school obviously increased the goods and services share of the education budget. But what does that mean? If you have free senior high school increasing the goods and education share of the education budget, look at the education budget, 70% goes into salary. So you have only 30%. And the meaning is that you have very little money for capital investment, which is capex, which means you can only build a few schools. And that is why if you look at the trend in expenditure, education expenditure over the period, you realize that capital expenditure has hardly crossed 10%.
Well, he also reveals that neglect of funding for infrastructure has negatively affected basic school in the country.
If you have free senior high school increasing the goods and education share of the education money, the meaning is that you have very little money for capital investment, which is capex, which means you can only build a few schools.
That was Executive Director of Africa Education Watch, Kofi Asare. Now, the Bureau of Public Safety has called on the National Road Safety Authority to focus on significantly reducing the rate of road accidents in the country. Well, the Road Safety Authority in its report indicated that incidents of reported road crashes, vehicles involved, persons killed and persons injured all decreased in 2024 as compared to the same period of January to June 2023. Well, despite records of improvement, the Bureau contends that there was no deliberate action from the authority which resulted in these improvements. Now, Executive Secretary of the Bureau, Dr. Nana Yaw-Akwada, tells City News that the authority should step up its measures, especially as Ghana enters the election season.
The National Road Safety Authority must tell us the exact interventions they put in place to change driver behavior and to improve road experience for all users in order to justify the marginal improvements that we are seeing. They must tell us how they and other players influenced this first 6 months report. Then
Executive Secretary of the Bureau of Public Safety, Dr. Nana Yaw-Akwada.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Oh, jump on now. Go. Google me. At what time when you come back, we are not hear the sound of your car? Why you buy new car?
No, I not change my car. It be the same, right? It be the fuel way I change. Way one shouts it. Ever since I started using the all-new Excellium Premium Fuel, fortified with 3-in-1 action. Oh, Joe, now my car they run like electric car. No, it's so.
This is the type of fuel where they want to. Because now engine they cost. Where they want for way if I buy it, it go protect my engine. And with the small way I buy, I go drive, sir.
Absolutely. It's like strapping a turbocharger to your engine and giving it a protector. And what they bust my mind, Seth, be the 3-in-1 action, no? Excellium, they prevent up to 99% of deposit. It be anti-wear, some be anti-corrosion. Won't pay when I open them.
Hey, so where can I find this magical fuel?
Just head over to any Total Energy service station and your car will thank you.
Hey, then make a finish my gobe fast, then rush go Total Energies. My friend, but why your hand my gobe inside?
I give you info. Make a fill the gobe too small.
Go.
Excellium is designed to protect your car engine, decrease fuel consumption, and lower CO2 emissions. Don't say fuel, say Excellium. Choose Excellium, choose quality.
Yeah. We have a new leader in town. OBRNT. I'm for me don't want Sibebre. When him say my baby, maybe more charcoal for whiter teeth. More charcoal. Not only that, maybe lemon. More lemon. Zinc for fresher breath. More zinc. And fluoride for stronger teeth.
Introducing the new President Charcoal Pack with more power with a combination of charcoal and lemon for naturally whiter teeth. Grab yours now. This advert is FDA approved.
When you want to eat, just Momo it. Tired of the long queues in the supermarket? Pay
Hey, with Momo, when you really want that beautiful new blouse, just Momo it. When you want to get a trim and get fresh to impress you know who, just Momo it. When you need to pay your utility bills and domestic staff, Shani Momo. When you want to send love to the family back home, send some Momo. Join the millions of MTN Momo users all over Ghana and live life the brighter way. So just Momo it. MTN.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
Get the details. Every significant financial transaction, every market movement, and all the policies that affect your business. Citi Business News. Be informed.
It's time for Citi Business News on Eyewitness News. My name is Akosia Oche. Let's settle for the details. Our Deputy Finance Minister, Dr. Stephen Amoah, is urging the public to honour their tax obligations to help the government meet its growth targets for the year. Or during the mid-year budget review, it was revealed that out of 7.9 million registered taxpayers in the country, only 1.5 million people fully comply with their tax responsibilities. Dr. Amoah emphasized that government is working diligently to sustain economic growth and improve the fiscal environment.
Internally, we are not able to generate the needed tax amount. About 2 million out of our 34 million population actually perform direct tax obligation. And even the indirect tax, we all know leakages. We talk about the tax net and the whole lot. So we normally don't get enough money internally to meet our obligations.
That was Deputy Finance Minister Dr. Stephen Amoah. Now, some tax analysts have attributed the government's failure to remove several taxes criticized by the business community in the mid-year budget to align with the broad government fiscal strategies. While expectations were high for the removal of taxes such as the COVID-19 levy, e-levy and others, the government's decision to maintain these taxes has sparked controversies. While speaking to Citi Business News, tax analyst Geoffrey Kabute-Okansi highlighted the introduction of the second phase of the EVAT invoicing system.
I didn't expect any new taxes, and I didn't expect them removing the e-levy. I didn't expect also for them to remove some of the taxes he said. I mean, because, clearly, if there were signs in our meetings with them early on, they would have showed signs of, bringing something new. But there's one thing they also spoke about, the rollout of the second phase. That's looking at the EVAT invoicing. They're going to bring about 2,000 more companies on board. They also spoke about the reduction in irregularities. It's not just about reducing the irregularities, it's also about recouping my money. I told you that I want to get the money for the early irregularities, tax and cash that happened, over the period of 5 years. If you came back to tell me, look, you recouped X amount of money from those ones that were stolen from me, that is what also would be very encouraging.
You heard from a tax analyst, Geoffrey Kabute-Okansi. Let's move away from the budget because the World Bank has backed Ghana's economic recovery despite the fast exchange rate depreciation and slower than expected inflation reduction. Well, according to the Bretton Woods Institution, Ghana's economic indicators remain on track for 2024 and beyond. Here's more from the World Bank's 8th Economic Update for Ghana titled Strengthening Domestic Revenue Systems for Fiscal Sustainability.
The report highlights the steady progress Ghana has made over the past year in addressing severe macroeconomic imbalances that emerged in 2022. The economic situation has been improving in line with target due to efforts to restore fiscal and debt sustainability, reduce inflation, and strengthen financial stability. Due to the lingering effect of the macroeconomic challenges, growth in 2023 was low at 2.9%, albeit higher than initial projections, while inflation declined to 23.2% in December 2023 from a peak of 54.1% in December 2022. This progress is attributed to the Bank of Ghana's firmer monetary policy and more stable exchange rates. It is crucial to maintain the momentum of reforms while mitigating the impact on the poor to help sustain Ghana's economic rebound. However, the World Bank maintains that government must lay the foundations for more sustainable and resilient economic growth by implementing comprehensive structural reforms to foster economic diversification and promote long-term inclusive growth.
That was a news desk report by Edna Agnes Boachi of the City Business Desk. Now, finally, before we go, owners of small and medium enterprises are being urged to embrace the changing dynamics of digitization and its impact on their businesses. Well, they have been urged not to consider the size of their businesses and downplay the role of digitization. While speaking at a seminar on the theme, Empowering Growth, Optimizing People and Resources for their Digital Era, the Managing Director of GCB Bank Limited, Kofi Adumako, believes the SME sector will become more efficient if it prioritizes digitization.
Having said that, the world is also changing, and changing very fast. If you stay behind, you'll be left behind, and you'll be left behind for good. We all have to learn how to do new things. All have to learn. Technology, digitization, fintechs are disrupting anything that has to do with business. People are becoming more efficient. Your whole economy, in many parts of the world today, is being driven by technology. People have data, people have information, and now they can make very intelligent decisions around the information they have. You don't need to get too complex, but you need to ask yourself, how can I make my business more efficient, more agile? How can I make that business? Even if I'm selling coconut water, even if I'm selling coconut water, my coconut water oil was telling me the other day that he wants to move from selling the raw coconut because now they can bottle it.
You heard that from the Managing Director of GCB Bank Limited, Kofi Adumako. Now that's how we wrap up City Business News on Eyewitness News. My name is Akosia Ochi. Many thanks for listening. Do stay with us up next. This is Point Blank.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
I am Ohinere Gifty Auntie. You see, it always feels good when you receive that salary alert. I made a bold decision to invest a lump sum into the Old Mutual Retirement Salary Plan. And this means that I will get these alerts every month throughout retirement for the rest of my life. You too can retire on your own terms. So invest a lump sum in the Old Mutual Retirement Salary Plan today and enjoy guaranteed monthly income for life. Call Old Mutual on 050-453-4333 or visit oldmutual.com.gh to sign up today. Old Mutual, do great things every day.
Are you feeling tired after a hard day's work? Have you lost your appetite even for your favorite dish? Viral Blood Tonic is a nutritionally balanced, pleasant-tasting tonic fortified with iron and vitamins to boost your appetite and energy levels for high performance. Viral Blood Tonic, easy to take and good for the whole family. Viral from Danex Iting Starwin PLC. If symptoms persist after 48 hours, consult a physician. This advert is FDA approved.
Are you a builder, contractor, or homeowner with a passion for quality? Look no further. At Yale, we pride ourselves in trusted security and quality hardware for doors. Visit our showroom on 11th Lane Street in Accra, Ghana, and discover the world of Yale door hardware handles and locks. At Yale, we understand your need for security and the desire for elegance. Our products not only protect your loved ones, but also add a touch of sophistication to your home or business. Whether you're renovating your space or crafting a new masterpiece, Yale is your trusted partner with a history of 180 years of innovation. Come on down to Yale today. Experience the perfect blend of security and style with Yale. Yale, where security meets style.
Let your voice be heard on Eyewitness News on Facebook at facebook.com/City97.3, Twitter at twitter.com/City973, and Instagram at instagram.com/City973 with the hashtag Eyewitness News.
Eyewitness News. Be there as it happens.
About presidential debates, to debate or not to debate. Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia of the NPP has openly challenged the NDC's John Mahama to a debate. The two of them are the leading presidential candidates in election 2024. Members of the NDC have variously been rejecting that call, but today the minority front in Parliament issued a statement changing the discussion entirely by inviting the Vice President and flag bearer of the governing party to a debate in Parliament. How so? The Member of Parliament for Banda, who is the Deputy Chief Whip, is Ibrahim Ahmed. He signed that statement. He's joined us on the line. You're welcome to Eyewitness News, eh?
Thank you, Omar. I'm going to say a very good evening to your cherished listeners.
Good evening to you too. On the other line too, I have Dennis Miracles Abuaji. He's Director of Communications of the Bawumia campaign. I'll be engaging him a bit. Can you hear me, Dennis?
I can hear you, Maru.
Great. Good evening to you too. Let me hear from Ibrahim Ahmed and I'll come to you if you do not mind. Honorable Ahmed, talk to us about this, your proposal to the Vice President and the justification for same. Honorable Ibrahim Ahmed?
Yeah, Omar.
Yes, please. So kindly speak to us about this proposal of yours to the Vice President and your justification for same.
Omar, let me say a very good evening to your cherished listeners. As a matter of fact, our call is predicated on the Article 111 of the 1992 Constitution of the Republic of Ghana. And if you care to know, let me read. That is attendance in Parliament of the Vice President. The Vice President or a minister or a deputy minister who is not a member of Parliament shall be entitled to participate in the proceedings of Parliament and shall be accorded all the courtesies and privileges as a member of Parliament, except that he is not entitled to vote or to hold a position in Parliament. So, pursuant to this article, any time there's a budget presentation in Parliament or media review, the Vice President always comes and we give him a seat in front. But this particular one, looking at his poor and abysmal economic performance, this media review that was presented yesterday, the Vice President was nowhere to be found. And we realized that of late he's been calling for a debate. The question is, if you are calling for a debate, meanwhile you are a chairman of the economic management team, you have delivered a poor performance, you are presenting the last opportunity that you are going to represent to face the people of Ghana, their representatives. Why is it that you fail to show up in the presentation of the media review? 2, we are to start the debate tomorrow, the 25th of July. And we are saying that if you have been given the mandate for 7.5 years, this is your last budget that you are presenting. The debate is to be taking place day after tomorrow, that day after day, and that is tomorrow. Why don't you, if you didn't get the opportunity to come, avail yourself to the Constitution and let's debate and give you an input so that when you go as chairman of the economic management team or when you go to cabinet, you will be able to translate most of this, our input, to get a well-informed policy, because we are the people's representatives and we are feeling the hardship that you have brought to Ghanaians. The 2 million Ghanaians youth who are facing nutrition and food insecurity, the 33.3% of Ghanaian population who are extremely poor, and about 35% of the Ghanaian youth who are unemployed, the highest in the Fourth Republic. We are going to debate this economic performance tomorrow. And he is the one who has been calling for debate. And we say that the Constitution has given you that mandate. Come to meet the people's representatives and come and let us debate it. You either come or you forever keep your mouth quiet. And this is why we have thrown the challenge.
But he's calling for a debate of equals. You are not his equal.
Do you remember the last time that the Mama told him that he has never been president before and therefore he did not qualify to debate him or he did not qualify to criticize him? What was his response? Who are his equal? We put him there. You see, Bawumia, everything that you want to use to defend him, he will fall short. You see that even this argument that you yourself you are bringing, he has already defeated that argument. And you remember in 2012 when the Mama called for Nana Akufo-Addo to the debating, Nana Akufo-Addo himself did not respond to Bawumia, did not respond to President Mahama. It was Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia who went and responded to President Mahama, saying that President Mahama did not need to debate Nana Akufo-Addo, but he should go and debate the suffering Ghanaians. He should go and debate the youth unemployed. He should go and debate the cocoa farmers. Have you forgotten? So what has changed?
Okay,
Have you forgotten that the same Bawumia who gave the late Vice President Emisata 170 questions, where is the marking scheme? And where are the answers to those questions? So we should not just allow people to be going around talking to Ghanaians where they know that those questions that they are putting up will not be questioned. Parliament is a constitutional forum for the ventilation of grievances. It is a constitutional venue for the House for the debate. The Vice President has been given a constitutional mandate and a constitutional legitimacy to come and debate. And that's why we are throwing this challenge to him. We have lined up 6 competent or 8 competent people who are going to debate tomorrow. And he must be there to debate them, or he should forever keep his mouth silent.
Per your parliamentary rules, is it allowed for a vice president to be in the chamber to debate?
I've given you the constitution and you are asking for parliamentary rule. We are all subject to the constitution. We are practicing a constitutional rule. And I've quoted Article 111 of the 1992 Republican Constitution of Ghana to you. And all our parliamentary rules are subsidiary to the constitution.
All right. Let me speak to his spokesperson. If you could just stay on the line for me. Dennis Miracles Abuaji, you've heard the minority whip deputy there.
Vice President and spokesperson, where were they yesterday?
Okay, let me hear from Dennis, Honorable Ahmed Ibrahim. Let me hear from Dennis Miracles. You've heard from Ibrahim Ahmed there. The debate you're calling for, you should come and have it in the chamber of Parliament. What do you say to that? Hello,
Honorable Ahmed. I think that the Vice President is flattered that the NDC can line up 6-7 people to come and debate their team. I think it only tells you the caliber.
Dennis, could you please speak up?
Saying that, can you hear me now?
Yes, please.
I'm saying that the Vice President is really flattered, with this initiative by the minority, especially when they line up 7 to 8 people to come and debate just the Vice President. And Omaru, I disagree with you. The Vice President never thinks that the MPs are not his co-equals. He really holds them in high esteem, and he believes that they are real, men of high repute. But the fact is that if this is the minority's way of shielding former President Mahama from debating the Vice President, that's okay. But this strategy of protecting your flag bearer in the name of the Vice President should come to the Chamber of Parliament to come and debate 7 people. Since when did Parliament select people and line them up to debate one person on the floor of the House? In fact, based on the set criteria, every debate has rules. And based on the set criteria that at least I see from the letter from the minority, it's quite obvious that the Vice President doesn't even have to bother. He has a lot more competent persons in Parliament on the majority side who can handle these 7 men from the minority side without he having to be there. And so really, if that is the case, then please, Honorable Ahmed should know that in Parliament, I see the ranking members of the committees from their side. And our chairman at the Honorable Afenyo Maken is highly competent to debate them. We have Kwesi Kwarteng there. He will debate on behalf of government. We have Frank Anodompre there. We have a lot of members of Parliament on the majority side who can competently debate their 7 selected people without having to disrupt the Vice President in coming to Parliament. And so the Vice President's call is specific. He's running for the office of the President. The minority have a leader. The leader of their party is the former President. The Vice President is quite sure, 100% confidence in the performance of this government. their leader is asking for the people of this country to vote for him to come and formulate policies before they even come to the floor of the House. And the Vice President is simply saying that, come, let's put our record against your record. Defend yours, and let me defend mine with a set of presidential debate rules. You know, the floor of the House has rules that you cannot change simply because the minority have written a letter. There are rules that they call standing orders that cannot be changed overnight just for a debate between the minority and the Vice President. And that would not be the best place to have a presidential debate, which may require that we have certain specific set of rules. And so the Vice President is happy that they extended an invitation to him, but he says, no, thank you. He has competent men in the House who are seated there with the minority, and he would ask his men there to handle this simple debate on his behalf whilst he prepares himself and continues to wait for their leader, the former president.
But in the past, you refused to debate the former president, so they are serving you with the same meal you served them in the past. Why do you think that they should debate you now when you in the past did not debate them?
Oh, I think it's fine. I don't think the Vice President has put a gun to the head of the former president to debate him. And that's why I even find it quite strange that the minority are devising such ways to shield their leader. If you don't want to debate, simply say, I don't want to debate. But these tactics of my minority have lined up 7 people that I alone should come and debate them on the floor of the House that has standing orders, rules that cannot be bent simply because there's a presidential candidate, a vice president in the House. And so I should come there. You don't have to go through all this stress just to avoid a debate. When we didn't want to debate the former president, we said it. And so if he doesn't want to debate, he should just say it. And I think he has said it. And so there's tactics that help. The Vice President has a lot of competent men on the majority side in the House of the House, on the floor of the House, and they are ready and willing to debate these 7 persons from the minority. He doesn't have to bother about it. He doesn't need to come in and do this. There are people there to handle it for him. If the former president feels that he cannot defend his own record against the Vice President's record defense for this government, it's okay. He can say that he will not do it. But these devices, they won't help. But he's very flattered. Let me put it on record. The Vice President is flattered with this invitation, but he says, no, thank you. There are a lot of his men on the floor to handle this for him.
Out of curiosity, why has the game changed now for you to be interested in debating Mahama? I remember in 2020, and I'm looking at a story published by our website at the time, citinewsroom.com, debating Mahama not part of our campaign strategy, and it has a photo of Sami Ewuku, who was quoted in that, and that debate never happened in 2020. Why has it become a part of your campaign strategy now to have a debate between the NPP flag bearer, your candidate, and John Dramani Mahama?
I think predominantly this whole debating has been triggered by the acts and antics of the former president, honestly speaking. If you have a former president who has been president before but goes around peddling lots of falsehood, claiming a lot of things that he has no hands in, misleading and misinforming the public about a lot of things, obviously you call him to put him to test and for him to prove all these things that he's saying. So maybe in the year 2020, he probably had not escalated this misinformation and disinformation that as he is doing today. And so if you have a former president who continuously peddles falsehood, mislead, misinform, and disinform, the best and quickest way to settle it is to say, come, let's put all the things you are saying to strict proof. And let's see how the things you say can stand the test of this street proof. So the times are different. This is an election where you have a vice president, a certain vice president, vying for presidency for the government for the third-time elections, and then you have a former president who has been vice president before, been president before, running against a vice president. It's important that we do this peer-to-peer debates for us to really ascertain that between these two leaders, who really can we trust? Who can we believe in? Who can we have a lot of hope and assurance in? Yeah. And so you should understand that the times are completely different, and the times is what is demanding for this. But like I said, Umaru, nobody has put a gun to the head of the former president. He's the one going around saying things that cannot be substantiated. If he's been called to come and justify these things and he cannot do it, it's fine. But these antics on the minority, it means nothing. We don't have to bother. Afenyo Makin and Co will handle them for us.
Very well. Let me just, please, again, stay on the line for me. Honorable Ahmed, you should just make your candidate available for the debate because he has been engaging in disinformation at all. One of the reasons that your colleague on the other side wants a debate between the two. He appreciates that you've presented 7 or 8 people to debate the candidate, but of course, there are others on your opposite bench who can do that with you, he says.
Omar, as a matter of fact, I heard Miracle say that no to the invitation. So Baumia is not going to come for the debate. Baumia is, if he's scared of the 8 people, the 8 people, he alone is not going to debate the 8 people. Parliament is a house of procedure. The 8 people, if 8 are going to debate, Baumia will be added to the 7 MPP there. There are Senor Markins and all those people that he is talking of to debate the 8 people. It is not that he alone is coming to be debating 8 people. That is not it. Let that be right for Miracle. Then secondly, in 2020, if Miracle is talking of peer-to-peer, in 2020, by the year 2020, Mama had been a former president for 4 years. Akufo-Addo has also been president for 4 years. Why did they run away? Peer-to-peer means 4-4. Even that, they ran away. 2012, you ran away. But beyond all those things, Parliament is the house of procedure. Almost all the finances that were approved for President Mahama or NDC when he was in power were done in Parliament. All the monies that had been approved for Nana Akufo-Addo and Baumia were done in Parliament. All the records in national development are done in Parliament. All institutions in Ghana respond to Parliament. So when we say that he is the head of the economic management team, we know all the economic records and every financial records and indicators are all the national budgets are presented in Parliament. We were surprised that his last budget presentation, he has run away. And that is why we are calling him. He owed the good people of Ghana accountability for his 7.5 years stewardship. So we are not calling Baumia, we are not calling President Baumia, President Akufo-Addo to come. But we are calling Dr. Mahmoud Baumia as chairman of the economic management team and as vice president of the Republic of Ghana, who has been given the mandate by Article 111 in the Constitution to come and do that constitutional mandate. And he owes us. It is not that we are begging. He owes us that explanation. We have been approving the money for him. Before he came to power, the national inflation figure that President Mama left in was 15.4. It is in our record here. So he is coming to tell us what is the inflationary record now. Before he came to power, we gave you 15.4 inflation, you send it to 25%, you took it to 54, you have reduced it to 25. But still, your 23, 24, 25 is still higher than the 15.4. Before he came to power, the President Mama gave him 1 million tons of cocoa production, 969,000 tons of cocoa production. What is the figure now? You have reduced it. You are struggling for 500 or 650. Come and tell us. Don't go somewhere and tell us. We gave you a single-digit inflation for 36 months. What is the figure now? We gave you an unemployment rate of 8%. It is now about 14-something%. Why is it so? We gave you a GDP growth rate of 14.40% before. What is the percentage now? So these are the indicators we are saying come to Parliament. Then we will bring all the 7 years budget of NDC. Then we give you all the 8 years budget of MPP. Then we do budget to budget comparison. Economic indicators comparison. Then Ghanaians will know who is speaking the truth. Almost all the indicators you have done this, we've done this, we've done this. If you say we should compare records, where are the records? The only house of records in Ghana is the Parliament of Ghana. We have people who feel the impact of your economic implication. And we have people who give you all the approvals. So we are not begging that, oh, come and let us debate. Debate for what reason? Come and let us compare the records.
Very well. Thank you.
You are talking of misinformation. Parliament is the house of records. All the loans that we have approved for you, we have done it. The 54 billion deficit that you are talking of, come and defend it. That's what that we are saying.
Very well.
The 742 billion debt that you have incurred for the country. Come and defend it.
Okay. Thank you.
Don't just say, I've done this, I've done this, I've done that. Then you can be saying it somewhere. Parliament gives you that legitimacy. And you are legitimately entitled to it. Don't run from accountability and say misinformation. On Saturday, President Mahama is contesting for election. He is going to present his manifesto, his campaign launch for the good people of Ghana. In August, he will bring his manifesto. He doesn't own Ghanaians' accountability. All the mandate that was given to him in the 4 years as vice president, 4 years as president, that accountability has already been rendered. So what accountability are you talking of? You are in the seat. We say come for accountability.
Thank you.
This is accountability debate we are seeking for.
Thank you so much. Honorable Ibrahim Ahmed is MP for Banda, NDC MP, Deputy Whip. Dennis, there's another headline from the minority leader case, Alato Forcing. He says, a driver's mate is not qualified to debate an experienced driver. That's in response to all the calls from your side for a debate. What do you say to that in quick response before we go off?
Omar, not just quick response. I need equal time to respond. And
okay,
if I'm doing it,
1 minute, please.
If you do this, then it tells you the reason why the vice president will not go to parliament to go and debate. Because debates have rules. Equal time, topics, and all of that.
Dennis, you have 2 minutes. You have 2 minutes.
Yeah,
go ahead.
So, thank you. Now you're talking. So Umaru, Honorable Ahmed is trying too hard. This is not too difficult. The former president owes the people of Ghana accountability. He does. This is a former president who picked this country at an inflation of about 8% and left it at 15%. If you're coming back for our vote, you owe us accountability. This is a former president who left over 100,000 Ghanaian children at home without giving them access to formal education at the secondary school level. If you're asking us for another vote, you owe us accountability. There's a former president that we still pay, actually, who left us in darkness for 3 years out of his 4 years. If you're a former president, you owe us accountability. This is a former president who said that even though you have worked for a year, 12 months as a nurse or a teacher, the country doesn't have money to pay, and so they will pay you 3 months. If you're asking us for your vote, for another vote, you owe us accountability. They are trying too hard. Like I said, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia is not the one who presents budget in Parliament. In fact, for your information, he hasn't been to the budget reading in Parliament, not just this one. Last year, Umaru, you would agree that you didn't see the vice president there. So it is not true, and this is part of the misinformation and disinformation. It is not true that he always comes to Parliament for budget reading and he didn't come for this one. Go and check if you saw him in Parliament and the reading of the 2024 budget last year. Go and check if you saw him there in the reading of the 2023 budget. He wasn't there. And it's simply because he has able men to handle these things, whilst he also handles other aspects of government business. Now, you read the letter of the minority and you realize that they are quite clear. They said, and if I may, I'll just read a quick portion.
Unfortunately, you have less than 30 seconds.
This is the reason why the vice president would have to meet former President Mahama on the appropriate platform.
Yes,
the rules are different.
And this is the reason why we have to end, because you've exhausted your time.
Umaru, no,
Dennis, you asked for time. I've given you, and I've been quiet.
No, you gave him too much time.
No, I'm the one regulating it. You said rules.
You give me 2 seconds.
Okay, 2 seconds.
The minority has lined up a crack team of highly knowledgeable and competent members on its side to debate the vice president. And today I'm telling you that the vice president has equal able men to debate you. And they say, oh, don't worry, he will be one of them. They should stop shielding the former president.
Okay.
The vice president has invited him. If he doesn't want to come, he should be free to say that. If they want a debate on the economy, Honorable Frenamaken, Kwesi Kwarteng, Frankano Dompré and Co are there to debate them. Whenever the former president is ready, the vice president will be available to debate him as well.
Thank you so much for speaking to us. Dennis Miracles Abuaje is Director of Communications of the Bawumia campaign. Earlier you heard the NDC Minority Deputy Whip, Honorable Ahmed Ibrahim. Ending tonight's edition of Eyewitness News. We'll be back tomorrow at 17:30 GMT. Thank you for listening. Good night.